Hey guys, welcome back to the Giovani Show. Today we have on Gayle. Gayle, we just witnessed some belt to you know what yesterday. The Philadelphia Eagles came out and clinched the division, but not only did they clinch the division, they murdered Dallas out there. And
Y-
man, I am hyped. I am hyped to say the least.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like the start of the week, Dallas week wasn't really Dallas speaking, so I felt like that was the game that I needed. The fashion that they did it, I was super excited. All I needed to see was Saquon pop off with a big game, and he did that as well. Chauncey set the tone early, so I felt like I felt like it was Dallas week. Then I was like, yeah, beating Dallas, sweeping them. That was a good thing to see, man. Great vibes.
Man, the storylines in this game too. Chauncey getting ejected last week, comes out, instantly takes it away and brings it to the house. I mean,
Yeah. Did you see
that
the
guy,
all 22 on that?
bro. I watched. I as soon as that game was over, I went to go watch the film, and oh, that guy, he needed that for his soul.
The way that he just made Cooper Rush think one thing, and the way that Cooper Eugene funneled him inside, it was like the perfect play. And then after spending how many like $45,000 in fines, I felt like he redeemed himself with a touchdown, and he put the team on his back. I felt it was a good. I felt like it was a good moment.
I've been thinking lately. Chauncey had to go have a year off, come back to the Eagles. He's still great. Could the same thing happen with Hassan Reddick? Could we see the same thing happen with Hassan Reddick? I
Come
know.
back.
I mean, these guys want to come back.
It's. I think obviously Hassan had to get his money. I think it's just obviously you got to get your money, but I felt like it got a little too weird. Like, and it's definitely a business decision. Um, I was a big Hassan fan. I own and if I own your jersey, there's a reason. So if I got a Hassan jersey, but I'm kind of like I'm gonna be honest. I'm all about the youth movement. Being an OG, as you get older, you know, you like to see the same things. But with my players, when it's time, it's time. You have to get younger. And I feel like you're looking at this defense, and it's one of the youngest in the league. I mean, the Nolan Smiths of the world, I think it's the next. Yeah. As much as you'd like to stay, bring back the old, Jason Kelsey's walked off into green pastures. Now we have Cam Jurgens. You hate to see it, but as an Eagle fan, you start to, you start to see it when it's time. It's time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at least you said that you're an OG and I didn't have to say it because
Hey,
this guy hit Unk status a few years ago. So, but the main thing that I want to start this show off with is Kenny Pickett went into this game with, in my opinion, there's no way he didn't go into this game with broken ribs. The way that he just easily got re-injured. I mean, Kenny Pickett's a dog for playing through that, but Tanner McKee came out and played with such confidence. This quarterback room, God forbid if Jalen Hurts goes down, I have a lot of confidence. Yeah, we were playing Dallas, but I have a lot of confidence, especially in the swag that Tanner McKee brings to this offense. I mean, I'm excited, and I'm not scared for the playoffs now.
now coming out of that Commanders game, and how things shaped out. Obviously, Jalen got hurt, but just I just didn't like the way, I had some question marks. I thought Pickett did a good job last week coming off the bench cold. I think with a full week of practice, and being the guy for this week, I felt like he had a better performance. I feel like more confident in what he brings to the table. But if anyone who's listened to me in the past, I've been a Tanner McKee stan for a while now. So If you go back to see his reps in all preseason games, big boy throws, him hitting the outside. I've seen that, and the accuracy has been the thing that I loved about his game. He's not a dynamic athlete by any means, but in terms of mobility and stuff like that. But I felt like where he wants to throw the football, he throws it there with great velocity. He's got a good arm, and I think just seeing both of those guys get reps, obviously I think you got to be concerned about Kenny Pickett and the ribs. I think if you've ever had broken your ribs and played ball, it's not a good. That's a tough injury to go play through. The fact that he's out there giving his all is cool. Last year, a couple of years ago in the Senior Bowl, got an opportunity to meet Kenny Pickett and talk about him being an Eagles fan. And we talked about how he invited him and his dad to be at the game and just watch the game. So that was a cool experience. But it was just cool. I was like, what happens if you might be an Eagle? And just to see years later that he was starting a game that meant something. Winning the NFC East was huge. See that thing come to fruition and have that opportunity. It's got to be cool as an Eagles fan.
Yeah, 100%. Hey guys, do you need tickets to an upcoming game? Do you need tickets to go see the Eagles? Do you need tickets to go see any NFL team going into the playoffs? Then I have the solution for you, my friend. Go to SeatGeek.com and at your checkout, where it says promo code, use promo code Geo the Podcaster, all one word, no spaces. Guys, you'll get $20 off your order. Who doesn't want $20 off their tickets? Because I know those fees are hitting sometimes. So, guys, go get your tickets with promo code Geo the Podcaster and go see your favorite team win some games in the playoffs. I know we talked about this off air, but you think Saquon plays this game, and should he? I mean, if I'm Saquon right now, I'm saying I need to get that 100 yards. I mean, this like you said off air, this would just be, another puzzle piece to the puzzle. This would be for the story of the Philadelphia Eagles, the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles, who are going to go on and have an amazing playoff run. I mean, this would just give them the energy they need.
I feel like it's a part of this, like you said, part of the story of the season. I think this kind of, I've seen some of the great analysts in our community, Ray Dinger, not agree in playing Saquon and whatever. But I felt like this is like a badge of honor. Obviously, winning the Super Bowl is where the Eagles' mental state is. But I think as you see after the end of the game, them holding up the line, offensive line holding up Saquon Barkley, getting 2,000 yards is like nothing to sneeze at. I think it's just a great opportunity to like give this team energy, a boost of energy going into the playoffs. Coming out of Washington, I'm like, this team has to get hot again. And what better way to get the record? I had the Eagles sitting players. I had the Eagles at 13-4, sitting the players at the end of the game, end of the season, because of where their record's at, and they lose to the Giants because they're sitting players. But you could still get this record, catch the L, allow the Giants not to get their quarterback of the future even more. They actually won last week, but that's a dumb organization. But the fact that you can get those things, get the record, sit some players at half if you have to, but I felt like this record means a lot to this team, and it also means a lot to this fan base. It's part of this. It's part of the storyline.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I mean, imagine it now. The Philadelphia Eagles 2024 Super Bowl champs, and then you just have this to add to it. And there's just so many pieces that you can just add to this season if we can get it done. I mean,
When we can get it done.
When we get it done.
And now I was telling you off air before, I'm like, when I remember being a kid watching Eric Dickerson break this record, and I was thinking, I couldn't, at that time, I'm like, can anyone break this record as we move forward into the passing league that the NFL was? And the fact that we're here talking about Saquon actually 101 yards away from breaking this record in a passing league with the weapons that we have and AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, it's crazy to be here and actually us talking about it and it to be an Eagle. It's part of history. Like NFL history doesn't happen every day. Records are meant to be broken, but I think I would love the fact that he broke Dickerson's record.
Yeah. I mean, it would purely be magic. And yesterday in Barkley's presser, he kind of it's so funny how he just subtly throws shade and just throws shade every time he has the chance. He said that it was his first t-shirt and hat game and he didn't even know that those were a thing. So Giants, I mean, you gotta switch something up. We could have had my boy in t-shirts and hats, but that's
Oh,
it.
that's why I feel like if things are supposed to work out the way they're supposed to work out. The fact that he's an Eagle now, that's the football gods. That was meant to be. The fact that he's wearing a shirt and a hat was meant to be. The fact that he has a real offensive line, total disrespect to offensive line of New York Giants. But now that he has a real offensive line and an amazing offensive line coach, um, it was meant to be. So when you're sitting in a place where you're like, "Woe is me," like you're there for a reason, and he's in the right place and the right season for the Eagles
Yeah,
to like propel us to a Super Bowl. Yeah, I said it.
it's just 2 years ago had a certain feeling. 2017 had a certain feeling. This year has a certain feeling going into the playoffs, and I'm ready for it.
I mean, I think it's just big. It's a belief game sometimes, Gio. Like I feel like everyone has to believe. You got to buy in, and again, going in the playoffs, being hot is part of the buy-in process. We were there when we saw Foles. He had a clunker of a game, and then he kept building, kept building. But I think if we get hot at the right time, and I think we're becoming that's we're more than lukewarm. I think we're coming in hot right now. And when you get that record, that's like the cherry on top.
Yeah, I
We don't
agree.
even need dubs. We need the
Yeah.
record, and then we could all shut it down. Someone was asking me, "Do we tailgate next week? Should we do a tailgate for next week? The Giants game? We could just." I'm like, bro, we're tailgating.
Is the sky blue?
We're tailgating. Okay, we are tailgating.
Of course. Of course. Um, and then man, I know we talked about this off air, but Jalen needs to play this week. Some snaps. We need to see Jalen play. I know you said if he sits, it's almost a month without Jalen Hurts on the football field, taking snaps, throwing passes, doing what he does best. Going into the playoffs, I don't think we can afford to have a Jalen Hurts that's rusty.
Yeah, I do agree that a month off from playing is not, you know, you might start a little cold, but obviously they can practice um at practice, but like I just feel like getting in the rhythm before the playoffs is a huge thing. Just getting his timing is a good thing. Obviously there'll be the naysayers like, we don't want to get any injured in a game that doesn't mean anything. I mean, he got injured in the Giants game heading into the playoffs versus Tampa, breaking his finger. And obviously the organization will think about that. Like, dude, and he has a finger injury at this point, coming off a concussion. But like, if they're competitors, like let them compete. There's more to it. I mean, like they're playing football. Um, that I do feel that the fan base is torn on this issue. Um, but I do think I'd give them a couple series. Like I think we can get that record with Tanner handing the ball off. Tanner's the quarterback, or Kenny's dealing with ribs. You know, but I do feel like we can get that record and get some snaps for Jalen, and then so be it. Again, we're not asking for the dub because it doesn't really matter about the dub. It matters about the record
Yeah.
and get Jalen some live fire.
Yeah. I mean, Giants can win again and push themselves back in the draft more. I mean, go for it. We just need
Hey,
that record.
you think we're being greedy?
No, no, I don't think we're being greedy. I think we
Are
get that
you?
record and then we have the Giants win, so they get pushed back further in the draft.
It's not a flex either. Are we trying to do something for a flex to Giant fans? Like I to me this is the biggest like if you do when we get this right is the biggest flex and the biggest probably era of the Giants in in recent years. Like this is something that like to change the Giants' history on decision making. Like it's a big thing to be a GM and see a guy that you let out the door get these kind of numbers. Giants fan base is in a whirlwind of like downfall, especially after winning last week. The fan base is like, dude, like, can we do anything right?
Yeah,
This is why the Eagles tanked when they had the thing. It
yeah,
saves you draft capital. That win last week could have cost you 3 draft picks, future draft picks. But we don't care about the Giants.
don't
Carry on.
care. Don't care. Gayle, I appreciate you joining me today. Um, Man, a lot of potential going forward. I'm excited. I know you're excited. I know Fourth and John is excited. Man, let everyone know where they can find you on social media. And of course, everyone listening, go listen to the Fourth and John podcast right now.
You can follow us at Fourth of John on all platforms. Follow me at Eagle Sessions on Twitter, Gayle Saunders _ on Instagram. And if you like the Eagles, like we like the Eagles, I know Gio likes the Eagles, like we like the Eagles. That's why we connect. Um, Fourth and John is really just about that vibe. Anything Eagles, we're there, and we're a passionate group. Shout out to the guys, Evan, Prime, and Tim. Yeah, it's all about the Eagles' wives
Yes,
daily.
sir. And I will see you guys in our next segment, Around the League with Gio. First, we're going to start off with the Chiefs versus the Steelers. I thought the Steelers would pull the upset here. Honestly, the Steelers have been so great this season, shown off so much potential. Honestly, gave the Eagles a run for their money. Didn't think that the Eagles would win that game going into that game, but they got it done. But against the Chiefs, I thought that that was going to be a dub for sure for them. The Chiefs rallied, they got it done, and I mean that Chiefs organization is just something else, and it's really hard to win against them. Then we got the Ravens versus the Texans. The score of this one was really weird, 31-2. Um, this one honestly did surprise me. I thought the Texans were going to put up a little bit more of a fight. The Ravens came in, dominated the entire time, and it was a super, super crazy game for the Ravens. Then we got the Seahawks versus the Bears. Seahawks pulled this one off 6-3. The Bears organization just needs a change in their culture. The Bears culture and the Bears organization, um, they need to see something change. I think Caleb Williams is the franchise quarterback and he will be for a while. But with that being said, I think there needs to be changes around the building. I think honestly, wipe the slate clean, then start hiring new, offensive coordinator, new head coach, everyone. Everyone's got to go. If I'm the Bears right now. Then we have the Chargers versus the Patriots. Chargers are the best that I have ever seen the Chargers in my entire life. Justin Herbert is fantastic. Last year, I was preaching that I thought Justin Herbert was great, but I think he needed to be in a different organization, and that I didn't think that the Chargers organization would ever be top notch. But Harbaugh came in, started doing his thing, and Justin Herbert just looks completely different. And he just looks like, maybe this is his organization and maybe he should stay here. But that game, obviously, everyone thought that the Chargers were going to win that one against the Patriots. But I did not expect it to be a 40 bomb, if I'm going to be completely honest. Then we have the Broncos versus the Bengals. Obviously, the Bengals have not been the Bengals that we have seen in prior years this year. The Bengals have looked really rough in pretty much every game that they've played. This one went to overtime. Bengals won. Broncos put up a great fight, though. And that's something Bo Nix has looked okay for a rookie. Going against Joe Burrow and that electric offense and putting up, giving them a run for their money. I think there's a lot to build on with Bo Nix, and I think the Broncos see that going into next year for sure. Then we got the Cardinals versus the Rams. I thought the Cardinals would win this one, to be honest. The Cardinals have shown some hope throughout this year. I think the Cardinals have a lot to build on. I think Kyler Murray is a great quarterback. Um, but I think there definitely needs to be some change in their culture. I wouldn't say I don't think it needs to be as drastic as the Bears culture needs to change. There definitely needs to be some sort of change in the culture though, and I think that's very apparent to the Cardinals organization for sure. But the Rams came in, did their thing and got it done. Then the game that everyone was excited about as Eagles fans, the Cowboys versus the Eagles. Talked about this in my last segment with Gayle a lot, so I won't yap your guys' ear off even more about this one. But I will say the Eagles look so promising going into the postseason and going into the playoffs. I'm very, very surprised after seeing how rough of a start we had to this year. And honestly, I think if we don't go for Saquon's record, I think honestly we just need to get Jalen some snaps. I think Jalen needs to have some snaps. If you think about it, Jalen has not played football for a month if we do not play him this upcoming week. I think, do we play him for the whole game? No. No one's asking for that. No one's asking for that for any of the starters. But what we are asking for is to get that rust off now instead of before going into the playoffs. So that's my thoughts on that. Um, then the Bucks versus the Panthers. The Bucks did their thing. The Bucks kept their hopes for the playoffs alive, and the Bucks just they did their thing in this one. Panthers 14, Bucks 48. Hey guys, do you need tickets to an upcoming game? Do you need tickets to go see the Eagles? Do you need tickets to go see any NFL team going into the playoffs? Then I have the solution for you, my friend. Go to SeatGeek.com and at your checkout, where it says promo code, use promo code Geo the Podcaster, all one word, no spaces. Guys, you'll get $20 off your order. Who doesn't want 20 bucks off their tickets? Because I know those fees are hitting sometimes. So, guys, go get your tickets with promo code Geo the Podcaster and go see your favorite team win some games in the playoffs. The Bills are something else, man. Josh Allen has made this team that shouldn't be this good fantastic. Josh Allen has turned this team into a legendary team. He has put this team on his back and just really rallied with these guys. And I think that's a huge takeaway that everyone needs to take away from this season. Even if the Bills do what they usually do and slip up in the playoffs and fumble to the Chiefs or someone else, the Bills are fantastic this year, and that just needs to be acknowledged. Um, then we have the Giants versus the Colts. Being here in Indy, watching the Colts fall apart the way that they have, is really sad to see. I think that the Colts have some of the pieces, but they need a change of culture too. I don't think it needs to be as drastic as I'm saying that the Bears needs to uh have a change of culture. I don't think so. But what I will say is that it's really hard to get an organization to be great when there's all media outlets talking about the team in a negative way. It's getting in these guys' heads. Different players worried about that. It makes the game of football really hard. And I think after watching so many years of negative energy come from Philly media towards the team, it really affected our team in some of these years. We look back 2020, 2019, 2020, like I had said before. Um, and yeah, I think that honestly, that's just the harsh reality of it is that the journalists that are reporting on these guys and saying negative things, it can definitely get in these guys' heads, and I think it is for sure. Giants winning this one moves them back a few picks in the draft. So as an Eagles fan, we're happy about that. Not really ever worried about the Giants, because they never really truly do draft good. But I will say that we're all happy about that. Raiders win against the Saints 25-10. This one was very expected. I expected the Raiders to win this one. Um, then we got the Titans versus the Jaguars. Honestly, this game this game was one of those games where I did not have it on. I went back and watched the film afterwards, but I did not have this one on just because these two teams have been struggling all year. Um, both these teams are in the hunt to find those puzzle pieces to get to fit the puzzle and make the puzzle. Um, both these teams just need to develop and develop a lot. Then we got the Dolphins versus the Browns. The Browns have just been stinky all year. Had a really, really rough year. And yeah, Dolphins got one up on them. Then we got the Packers versus the Vikings. Um, the Vikings are just one of the best teams in the NFL, hands down. And it's really cool to see them doing well, just as an Eagles fan who has so much, history with the Vikings. 2017, the history there. It's cool to see a team like the Vikings be so good going into the playoffs because something like 2017 could happen again. We could repeat history here. So it's cool to see that. I will give them that. Was hoping for a Packers win though. Then we got the Falcons versus the Commanders. Commanders won against the Falcons. I was a Falcons fan during that game. Was really rooting for the Falcons in that one. Um, Kirko has just been absolutely so dominant this year. That one went to overtime as well. And yeah, I mean, I was really hoping for the Falcons to win. The Commanders are just so special this year and so good and so fun to watch. And then coming right up to last night's game, the 49ers versus the Lions. Lions won this one. Amon-Ra St. Brown. We all saw the clip of him giving belt to the camera. I thought that was hilarious. This team, I have to say, it's different. Football is based on personality of a team and chemistry of a team. And I think that's what the Bills are showing so well this year is that even if you don't look great on paper, the chemistry and the personality of these guys and them just being the right click is something that matters more than skill sometimes. And yes, the Eagles have one of the best receiving cores in the league. They have the best running back in the league with Saquon Barkley. Yes, we have the talent, we have the skill, we have it all. But the chemistry with this team, as well as the skill, has definitely helped. And I have to say, the Lions, they have the skill and they have the chemistry, but sometimes the chemistry outweighs the skill, and that's how these teams do so good. But I will say the Commanders are a prime example of that because the Commanders, for some of these players, they're getting older. Jaden Daniels can just lead this team in the way that all Commanders fans were excited to see. And I will say that Jaden Daniels is going to wreak havoc on the NFC East for years and years and years to come. So I will say, as an Eagles fan, that's exciting for me because I am so sick and tired of every year, it being Dallas. Dallas we have to go against. Dallas we have to be worried about. They're always the ones who's trying to take the number one spot from us. Now the Commanders. I like it. Zach Ertz with the Commanders. Come on. Something's happening here. We love it. Even though Zach is with the Commanders, love to see him winning games. So, going into the playoffs, I want to announce this on here. I know I announced it on Twitter and Instagram today. I will be starting a new segment for the playoffs. We still have yet to come up with a name for it yet, but for the playoffs, I'll be releasing 2 podcasts each and every week. One for the AFC teams, where I'll be going more into depth about the playoff games, and then one for the NFC teams. And once again, I'll be going more into depth about those games, about the teams, about the players, everything you guys need to know about playoffs. I will be coming to you from the studio and talking to you guys about the games. So, guys, I am super excited. I hope you guys are excited. And yeah, I just can't wait. And I'll see you guys next time. And as always, go freaking birds.